Testing, testing, one, two, three. We are live. It's alive. We are live here at noon. Noon on a Thursday. In the middle of a freaking cold January. Ah, my goodness. Last 2 days, I'll tell you what I spent the last 2 days doing. Huddled up in a ball, trying to stay warm. Cause I'm like I have a plug-in garage electric heater. It's a 220 electric heater. And that's all I've got to heat this place with. Because like I told you last year, is uh, this place is piped to run on gas. It has a gas furnace, but the gas lines. First of all, I found out that they came out to hook up my gas in the last year, and the gas had a leak. So they went to check the pipes, and the lines are of a make that is no longer up to code. It is no longer legal to use these lines, and so I would literally I have to pay if before I can run gas heat through my place ever again. I would have to pay to have all the pipes, all the gas lines pulled out and replaced. And I obviously do not have the money for that. And besides which, I have a something of a phobia about gas heat anyway. Uh, it's like it strikes me gas heat. Oh yes, it's so efficient and so warm and so cost efficient right now, and it can kill you in two or three different ways. So you can burn your home down. You can suffocate on carbon monoxide, or you can blow yourself up because you get a gas leak and then boom. It's just so great. Uh, you know. But I can hold out with just an electric heater. It's gruesomely pricey. It runs the price right through the roof. But it racks my electric bill up through the roof. So it's not too many laughs there. But at least I'm not going to asphyxiate from it. And normally it's enough to keep this place warm. But when the temperature drops below 20 degrees outside, when it goes below 20 degrees, and generally we get mild winters around here. When it drops down below, it's like spitting in the wind. I have this little heater. I've curtained off my living room, basically, and I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna hang some more plastic over the windows and stuff. And they're already double painted and stuff, but more plastic, daddy. And I basically huddle down here in this living room area, and it works a little bit. You can tell the difference in temperature going from one room to the next. But man, it got down in like 11, 12 degrees 2 nights ago, and I literally could not sleep because it was so cold. It just wrecked me. Seriously, I went to my bed. I tried, like bundling up in piles of blankets, but just something about so really it shorted out my ability to sleep. By the time the sun came up, I was a shaking wreck. So, last 2 days have been kind of fun. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Let's get some music if I can. Tell me if you can hear this. This is important. Copyright Rebel. We'll try Copyright Rebel here. Playlists. This is music by Copyright Rebel, royalty-free music. Um, it is not playing over system sound. That's the problem. Let me try something else here. Copy. Okay. Audio playlist. URL. Let's see if this works. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It does not. It does not. It will not. What the heck? I'm not going to win this fight. It's obvious. I just want my music. I just want something to play in the background in the back, and it's for some reason it will not. This thing. Minicam is what all my video and audio and everything files through. It's a program that lets me switch from camera to camera and do all this other fancy hoo ha. But for some reason, okay, it lets me plug in a couple of microphones. Like I've got a little thing here that says microphone, my Logitech USB headset, which is what I'm talking into. And I've got system sound. But for some reason, it is not. It is not playing sounds from the computer system. Uh, and I cannot understand why, and I cannot fix it. And I do not know why, and it makes me rather cranky. And I try and play audio and on the audio playlist feature, and it won't touch it. It won't work. And it doesn't detect my S100. It doesn't detect my web camera either. I don't know why. This thing it's got features here that lets it hook up to all sorts of things like Adobe and Facebook and Skype and Tumblr and YouTube. So here we go. Okay, let's try that. Okay, let's see. I'm going to. Man, I got to tell you, I've been, uh, I've been, Pascal, I've been doing looking through these, you know, Vine videos and the GIF collections on YouTube. Try not to laugh, that kind of thing, and all these reviews of anime. Dang, what is it with the Japanese, man? Anime, what the heck? Um, just titties all over. Boobies. There's no other way to put it. Come on. There's just no other way to say it. He's. It is sad how the Japanese make Americans look prudish. That's crazy time. Here we go. Let's see here. Let's see here. Play all. Here we go. Let's see if this works here. Just a second. Trying to get some. Just want some music, brother. Just want some music. Failed to load YouTube video. Oh, poop. Forget it then. Life is too darn short. Okay, now what the heck? Oh yeah, nature, rain, rain on roof, nature. This is how I pretend it's spring. Listening to nature sounds for me. And I may have to run to the bathroom in a minute. I just ate a bunch of taco salad. can you hear the rain? Did you ever feel the rain? Mm-hmm. Can you hear the rain? I can't share the sound of the rain. They had this thing in the news. There's a formerly homeless man. There's a homeless man in Chicago. Built himself an igloo. Here, I got a picture here. Got a picture. He apparently took the blocks of compressed snow off, from the parking lot of some parking lot and built an igloo. Whatever. The issue of homelessness. Now, let's talk about homelessness. Now, this it's a Gordian knot. Most of our social problems, most of the problems we have in this country, are actually are a Gordian knot. Now, we can treat some of the surface symptoms, but in order to really fix the root cause of some of the issues we have in our country, it would involve unraveling half the infrastructure we have built up over the decades. For instance, the issue of illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants. The straightforward solution, which would work, is to build a fence, enforce the immigration laws. That would be a big step forward, and it needs to be done regardless. But the reason we have illegal immigrants pouring over the border is because we have so much free gravy lying around in our country. They come over here because we've got companies that use them as cheap illegal labor. We've got politicians who use them as a cheap illegal voting bloc. And finally, we have all sorts of free gravy lying around. We've got food stamps and welfare and and all sorts of free handouts dictated by the government. Now, uh, if we ended these programs, these welfare programs are illegitimate. Uh, all the entitlement programs that the government is engaged in, that not a one of them is constitutional. Not Social Security, not the not the national the public broadcasting service. That's not constitutional either. All the gratuities and handouts and entitlements and supplements and subsidizing programs and handouts to the farming handouts and this and just no, none of it. Uh, uh, if we cancel those, they would stop having a reason to cross the border. They would have much less of a reason to cross the border. Many of them would still, we would still have illegal immigrants. We're going to have illegal immigrants regardless, but we can do a lot to stem the tide. And quite frankly, uh, if we get at the root of the problem, we solve a lot more. The welfare issue. The fact that the government is literally spewing money everywhere. You stop that problem, you solve a great number of others. You starve off a bunch of other problems that have sprung up in its place. But homelessness, for instance, uh, that is a multi-layered problem. First of all, we had people. We used to take crazy people and put them in the crazy house for their own safety. Unfortunately, way too many social justice, socially active, social justice warrior types watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and got their whole idea of what psychiatric care is like. There is no, let's be fair. There was a time and a day when any institution of physical or mental health is going to have problems, but we are a far cry from what they had, 100 years ago or 200 years ago. And yes, there is the issue. There's a lot of questions that have to be asked about the validity and the legitimacy of a system that, taking people and locking them up against their will, even though they have not committed any actual crime, locking people up for being mentally unwell. That is an ethical debate, but their solution was to open the gates and let millions of these people out on the street. People who could not even tell you which way was up were being dumped on the street. And what a surprise. Within a decade, we had a homeless problem. Imagine that. Crazy people dumped out on the street and we have a homeless problem. I wonder what the connection is. And then there are many other people that end up homeless for other reasons. Let's start off with you take New York City. Rent control. Rent control. Many of the regulations they put in place, like rent control, bleeding hearts again. They can't let these people raise rent. What happens to a person who owns a building? He owns a building, and the cost of maintaining that building, of caring for that building, of doing the maintenance and the upkeep and all the other and the utilities, everything else starts going up and up and up. But the government comes in and tells him he's not allowed to raise his rent. That's right. He has two choices. He can either throw everybody out and board up all the windows, throw everybody out, and shut the place down, and hope to God somebody stupid out there comes along and buys the property, or he can, try and run it, try and keep on running it where he's taking in $100 and spending $200, until he goes bankrupt, and then everybody ends out on the street anyway. This is how you have cities full of perfectly good buildings, but nobody can find rent. Nobody can find an apartment that's cheap or affordable, and there are homeless people freezing to death out on the street right next to a building with 1,000 empty rooms. That's why. because the government's got to get up in everybody's business. Government gets greedy. Government gets overweening and determined to do everything for our own good. This is what happens. Beg your pardon. You know, most of the issues in our country are intertangled, but everybody's out there trying to trim off the leaves at the end of the vine rather than going at the root. Nobody wants to try and go at the root because, in many cases, it would be political suicide. You try and suggest that Social Security should be ended. You might as well go out and jump out in front. Go out and find one of those buses full of senior citizens and throw yourself in front of it while it's cruising down the road. Now, oop, let's see. Open this, close that, open this. Okay. I'm trying to pull this up, trying to pull this together. Okay, we got, okay, for the jam, got those strips to do. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I finished transferring my stories over to Archive of Our Own. In case you're wondering, all my fan fictions. really disappointed in myself in spending that much time and that much energy. I really ought to be working more on. I've been poking at the Sanguine Chronicles for a while. Is it's still. I decided to break. You know, as you recall, it ended with Marco and his friends basically backing themselves into a corner. They tried to pretend to be a whole gang. Long story short, basically, this you know the stories that a vampire a gang of vampires is eyeballing their town, and in particular, they ran into Marco, and so in order to try and get them to back off, Marco has been posing as if there was an entire gang of vampires and werewolves already living in town to try and scare them off. The thing of it is that these guys don't scare easy, and they're not just a bunch of punks. They've got somebody bankrolling them, and so now the the gang wants to meet uh, with Marco and his group. And Marco doesn't have, these gangsters want to meet with Marco and his posse. Marco doesn't have a posse. He has two friends, well, three, and and out of the four of them, only two of them are Strigoi. Uh, and I realized I've written myself into a corner. So I decided to have him do something different. Is that I had the current chapter I'm working on is that Marco. This is where Marco meets his counselor. He goes to his church and ends up, half out of desperation, talking to the assistant pastor, trying to get advice. Because people do that, when in the real world. Not too many people anymore, but they go to their pastor for counseling. And if there was ever a time you needed the help of a servant of God, pack of vampires breathing down your neck kind of qualifies. And so this chapter is just, he's basically brought this guy into the loop. But the thing of it is, I'm not sure what kind of advice this guy could give. I wanted him to have somebody there to give him spiritual advice. If you understand what I'm saying. And not just another papist, That's what always gets me. You go to these movies, the movie always has, they're surrounded by vampires. They go find a priest. They go find a Catholic priest to bail their butts out. I love the assumption, that it's Christian equals Catholic. That's a sore point for anybody who's non-Catholic, and especially since the Catholics. Uh, I'll be blunt. The people, Baptists, Protestants, Baptists especially, do not regard the Catholic Church as a legitimate Christian denomination. For the past 2,000 years, we've been teaching that we've been teaching that what the Catholic Church teaches is not scriptural. It's not biblical. It is not in accordance with the teachings of Christ. And this is why they went to great lengths to burn us at the stake for all those centuries. And make no mistake, regardless of what they say up front, the Catholic Church does regard Protestants and Baptists as theological enemies. I'm going to, for those of you who are in church, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Whenever they have these movies that show, everybody goes running to the Catholic priest or the bishop or the cardinal or the local monk or whatever. Oh, there are vampires, there are ghosts, there are zombies, there's something. Quick, go to the man with the white collar. Oh. So what is it? No. I feel about that the same way a sensible person would feel about the president rounding up a anti-terrorist squad, and they walk in, and every last one of them is a Muslim. Because if those priests ever ran, if those Catholic priests ever ran into an actual demon possession, for instance, I'll tell you exactly what would happen. The same thing that happened to those ones that tried to, were not followers of Christ, who tried to exorcise a demon in the name of demon would sit up, looked at them, and said, Paul I know and Jesus I know, but who are you? Then he proceeded to kick the ever-loving uh, poo berries out of them.
No, 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 no. You don't know what you're doing here. Please, lady, you don't understand. What you're doing here.
My. Is there anybody still out there? Who's out there? We got 2 people in audience. Okay, I'm assuming the jam's there. Who else is? This is me. If you are offended by what I say, if you're offended by my stances on religion and politics and sexuality and all these other things, and I know there are people out there that got sensitive issues and that it's kind of thing, and if if I am insensitive to to your faith or your religion or your orientation or anything, you can just kiss my cracker butt. You can if I say anything, I say something about your church that you don't like, tough. Grow some chest hair already. If your particular hobby or fetish or sexual orientation or anything comes up in my discussion and I disparage it, well, guess what? I think you deserve it. So crying that you're offended, I will just laugh and point at you cruelly. No, just go. If you can't cope, if you can't cope with somebody criticizing what you're doing, maybe you should review what you're doing. There's one comedian say, I don't care. I'll make jokes about gay people. If you can take what getting stuck where, you can take a joke. had this one coworker. I was working in a telemarketing place. You know, Lord, I was such a. I'm still a dumbass, but uh, and I said something that was disparaging about the hippies from the '60s. Okay, first of all, the hippies. One, they were socialist. Two, they were a bunch of stoners. Three, they were a bunch of spoiled children. Four, they stank, literally, physically. One of the things, God only knows why, but they regarded bathing as oppressive. They did not bathe, and you did not want to be downwind of these creatures. And the wretched mess they made of America. And I said something, and she, this was a 60-year-old woman. She's, oh, I was one of the hippies too, and and how could you say things that were so hurtful? Because they were the truth. If you did not want to be criticized for being a stinky, smelly hippie, maybe you shouldn't have been a stinky, smelly hippie. I have things in my past of which I am ashamed. I do not blame other people I do not blame other people for the fact that my shameful past is embarrassing. If somebody brings up, some of the, stupid, oh, stupid, wicked, or well, I say wicked, it makes it sound like I've done something wicked. No, I was just, uh, evil's not cool. Okay, that's the thing. It is. You always get the impression if somebody screws up their life, they make it sound like you. I'm such a bad rebel, and in reality, it's pathetic. You did something that was so lame and so stupid, and like, oh god, you just want to. You just want to stick your own head in the toilet and hold it there till the bubbles stop coming up sometimes, just remembering some of the things you've done. But if somebody brings up things that I have done in the past, I will sit there and I will be ashamed of them. But I will not. It's stupid of me to get self-righteous with somebody else for bringing up my embarrassing past. If I didn't want people bringing up my embarrassing past, maybe I shouldn't have had that embarrassing past in the first place, No. I just ate a taco salad from Locos, and it's filling, but it's not. It fills you up, but it's not satisfying whatever craving I'm having. It's filling, but it's not satisfying. If you know what I mean. I don't know. Needs something. Can't begin to guess what. I guess just too much lettuce. Filling up on lettuce is, eat lots of lettuce and fill up. Fill up on low carb. Yeah, great. Instead of feeling like you've eaten a meal, you feel like you've stuffed a pillow with styrofoam peanuts. It doesn't really hit that spot. It doesn't give you that content, full and well-fed feeling. Go figure. That's just life. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull up Gmail. Figure out the jams. I gotta tell you, I left FinPicture. I've still got my account on there, but I've pulled down all the stories, pulled down all the blog entries. And yes, I'm quite aware that I am a very small fish in a very big pond, relatively speaking. There, but doggone, you know, when I say that I'm not going to let them make any more ad revenue off of me, it's a matter of principle. Okay, I don't care if they're just making nickels off of me. They're not going to make those nickels anymore. But anyway, I pull all this stuff down. I put up a final notice on my blog explaining that I've pulled my site down. Pulled all my stuff down and why, and where my new stories are. And this is my stuff. This is the reason I'm leaving. Sorry for the inconvenience. And more drama. More drama. You got every crumb crusher on that site showing up into my comments. Oh, you're such a drama queen, and you attention whore, and you talking about what a skis I am, and you know just more drama. I stay, drama. I leave, drama. I try and cut my losses, drama. I am forever set upon by irredeemable crap weasels. I swear, these people get into a fandom and they develop autism. They turn into Asperger's. They have dedicated more time to commenting on my last blog entry than they spend on writing their stories or doing their artwork or anything else. These people are short bus material. Look, I left for the site for a very simple reason. I am not, Mr. Cuddle, Mr. Cuddle Love. Okay, I'm abrasive. I know that. I'm opinionated. I also know that. And when I criticize something, I am mean as a snake. Congratulations, I figured that out all by myself. Yay! That I'm not very nice. Dang on, I have been subjected to, I am nothing compared to some of these people, and I have been subjected to abuse that would be grounds for a lawsuit in many places. You wait till somebody uses your likeness in a kitty porn story, and then you can talk to me about how nasty I am. troubles with the website here. Okay, settings. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Email. Okay. Now, who's there? I'm assuming the jam. I'd like some feedback. Could you all type something in the chat room? Type something in the chat. Come on, say something, please. Say hello. Am I really this? Am I really this boring? Am I really this annoying? Okay. Let's see. Website stuffs inbox. Project Wonderful. Blah 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 blah. I just really tired of all the different times I've had people ask me over and over again, where are you moving your stories to? Are you leaving your stories? Now, why would I leave a website? Why would anyone? Why would anyone leave a fanfiction website but leave their stories there? People are going, well, you're going to leave your stories up here, aren't you? No, no, no. Why would I do that? If I'm leaving, I'm taking my ball with me and going home. And that's another one. Oh, you take your ball and going home. Where? Just kiss my cracker butt, yeah. It's just unbelievable. Okay, let's see. Okay, where's Lance? Commission information. Oh, I got that Superman superhero thing for Lance. Merlin Jones, scrambled egghead. Merlin Jones, Grandpa's kook. I see Gordon Jones and I keep thinking of Merlin Jones. If you don't know who Merlin Jones is, there is a series of shorts, live action uh, movies done by Disney about a college kid who is a super genius, and his name was Merlin Jones, and he would do things like he would invent a mind. He invented accidentally a mind reading machine and a formula that gave people super strength and just on and on and on and on. Just silliness. But it was fun. Just, damn. I think I may have lost the email from the jam. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. I will be right back. Run to the restroom. Be right back. Later. Okay, for some reason, Minicam is not picking up any of my audio again. I'm ready to hurt. For some reason, Minicam is not picking up any of my audio again. So I had to switch over to a direct microphone. Testing. Hello? So I had to switch over to a direct microphone. Testing. Well, anyway, it's just aggravating. Aggravating. More of this nonsense. All this nonsense. All this crap. Why can't, you know, why can't anything work? Testing, testing, one, two, three. Testing, one, two, three. This is how you kill somebody. This is just to drive them crazy with this crap. I don't know. Just another source of heartache and heartbreak for yours truly. You'd think of all the things in the world that should be simple. As playing, voice over this. It should be simple. Basically, they've turned my forum into another circle jerk where they all stand around talking about what a horrible person I am. Can you hear any of the rain? I can hear the rain. Can you hear the rain? Can you ever hear the rain? Can you? The audio is behaving peculiarly. Well, here, let me show you. I don't know what this stream health means. It's okay. Watching now, bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down. What is that? I have no idea what that is. View full analytics. Oh well, this is doing nothing for me. Uh, I wish I knew what this was all about. You know, these peaks and valleys here. Nothing like having a bunch of people standing around, dedicating themselves to telling you, you know, how I got what I deserved. Yeah, because I'm so mean and hateful. I told them something that they've got, you know, they live in a world where they're insulated from any criticism of their behavior. And they have gotten increasing, you know, just more and more freaky and perverted and deviant with every passing day. And God help anybody that tells them. Nothing should be this difficult to get to work. I'm just saying here for I just got to take a minute to take a breather here and just think for a minute. Well, uh, I'm trying to spend more time working on Sanguine Chronicles. But it's still a bumpy road getting over that block. Calling it writer's block isn't exactly accurate. I mean, I've certainly got enough creativity for other areas, but I've just sort of written myself into a corner in some spots. Now, as you recall, the last update I did of the Sanguine Chronicles, Marco and his friends. The basic plot thus far is that a group of outsiders, vampires, have started moving into Marco's city, Marco's hometown, and they are stalking the local disaffected youth, uh, either hauling them off either as recruits or as prey. They are not sure which yet. And in an effort to try and scare these trespassers off, Marco and his friends have been trying to pose as trying to pass themselves off as an entire gang, an entire coven, quote unquote, of vampires. And this has backfired, as now the people who are backing the outsiders are agitating to meet Marco and his posse and discuss terms. The thing of it is that Marco doesn't have a posse. And the latest chapter, I've had him I decided to take a uh, left turn. Is that he doesn't know what to do, so what does he do? He tries to go and find somebody to talk to, somebody to get some advice from. So, in the latest chapter, he is talking to the person who becomes his counselor. That was mentioned at the beginning of the book. Uh, this person also happens to be the assistant pastor, the deputy pastor at his church. And I've gotten to the point where he has just dropped the bomb on this uh, assistant pastor. Welcome to the world of darkness, blah, 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 blah. And I find myself contemplating what sort of advice would this minister have to give? What kind of advice would he have to give to Marco? That would make a difference. Now, this isn't, this new character, this deputy pastor, is not exactly a sheltered individual. He is somebody who worked in various missions around New York State, New York City. Various. He's done seen the elephant. He's been around, and he's dealt with some of the scarier and more dangerous sides of life as part of his calling as a pastor, as a preacher and a minister. So he's he's been in the middle of gang wars and been confronted by drug dealers, and and he, he's a veteran of the mission field, as it were, even before becoming a pastor long before becoming a pastor at this little local church. So he's not about to fold like wet toast when things get hairy. But that's at the point I'm at with the story, and once again I'm struggling to move it forward because now that this minister has the lowdown on what the situation is, what kind of advice is he going to give? One of the things he's going to point out is that Marco's first mistake was trying to deceive his way out of trouble. Circumstances regardless. Uh, uh, Pulling off a scam that big would just be beyond him anyway. And you might be he might be able to con these uh, outsider Strigoi into leaving, but eventually they'll come back. And eventually, whoever is backing them up will come back. And whoever these people are, they are seriously scary news. And if he tries to fake his way out of this, he's sooner or later these they're going to come. They or somebody else like them is going to come along and call Marco's bluff. So the question is, Marco isn't going to be able to fake having a posse for much longer. So the obvious answer is that this pastor is going to advise him to get some real help. The real question is who? He can't go to the government because even in the best of circumstances, that would be like, sticking your thumb in a pencil sharpener and cranking the handle and expecting anything but the predictable results. So who do you trust? And who would a worldly experienced minister of God recommend that he trust? Broadcast is broadcast is acting up a little bit. There is something I'm going to address here that I don't think most people realize. That people have a certain perception of those in the ministry as being isolated, inexperienced with the world. There couldn't be anything less true. There really couldn't be. Ministers, preachers, men of God, they deal with things on a daily basis that most people only read about in the newspaper. I mean, seriously, all the drama and trauma and tragedy and everything else, they are there on the front lines. They are the ones there trying to patch people's bodies and minds and hearts and souls back together after the worst tragedies. They're there in the middle of war, famine, pestilence. There are ministers out there that walk daily into neighborhoods that police only go into in pairs. Trying to save souls. I'm sure that there are a lot of layabout, so-called, ministers are out there. They've never done anything uh, really difficult in their lives, but most ministers have seen more crap than than your average beat cop. And speaking as a son of a minister, uh, evil people constantly underestimate what uh, the children of God are capable of, what uh, God's shepherds are capable of. It was preachers and ministers and God fearing men who led things like the Revolutionary War. And in modern times, most people don't realize the Christian ministry is full of people who uh, there are no other words for it. If they were doing any other, if they were doing work for any other purpose, they would be lionized as heroes. They are respected and honored among Christians, but among the Christian community, but the world at large is oblivious to them. There were people who risked their lives smuggling Bibles behind the Iron Curtain during the Cold War. There are Christian men out there right now who are risking their lives in Muslim countries, getting copies of the Word of God into the hands of Christians and into the hands of new believers and converts. There are men being tortured right now for the crime of preaching the gospel. It's happening in communist China. I guarantee it. It happened in the Soviet Union. There are graveyards all over Siberia, full of Christians, pastors, ministers, lay people, just who were imprisoned, tortured, and then worked to death, and just dumped into the Siberian soil. And Christians were, and make no mistake, Christians were not and are not passive victims. There are people right now running undergrounds to smuggle believers out of countries where there are people trying to kill them. There are Christian men. There are Christian men who are smuggling Jews out of Germany. Even now, Christian people, Christian ministers, by necessity, have networks. If a pastor in one area will, if he's worth two spits, he'll go out of his way to contact other ministers and other preachers in the area, in the state, in the country, across the world, uh, working together to provide support for one another, resources for one another. And if it came down to it, if if this nation ever came under a boot heel of a tyrant, he would learn to his lamentation just how effective the Christian underground is. At thwarting his designs, for the lives and souls of his people. But getting back to the point is that in the scenario in the story, most people I don't get the feeling that people understand just how networked the average boots on the ground minister is. Uh, just going by my father as an example, he is he knows people who know people, um, and just by being a minister, it means he is at the fulcrum of a great number of social interactions and goings on. he you know he has gained at least a passing familiarity with everybody in his church, and everybody in his church's neighborhoods as well. He is probably better networked with people than people living right in that neighborhood themselves. And you take a religious man who has been uh, down in the trenches, someone who has worked in uh, the drug rehab clinic in New York City, or a halfway house in Washington D.C., or has uh, worked in a homeless shelter down in you know down in Louisiana, or has done field work, a mission field for a missionary trying to build a church out in Venezuela, or in South America, or over in Africa, or who has been that man is knows people who knows people. As our society has gotten more and more secular, we have forgotten the secular half of society has forgotten the connectivity that a pastor, or preacher, or minister provides to a community, and to some extent, that's a good thing, because if it ever came down to brass tacks and it became the people versus the government, then those men would be overlooked by those in power, while those overlooked men would be able to move about freely and work together against their enemies' designs. I'm sorry, I'm drifting off again. It's got a lot on my mind. Been, like I said, I've been pretty ragged the past few days. Past week, the temperature just bottomed out, and it means even with my heaters going full, electric heaters going full blast, this place turned into an ice box. I kid you not. It was so cold I could not sleep. Like, even bundled up in in a big old wad of blankets, I could not sleep. So it just by the time morning came, my my hands and my head were just shaking from the stress. It made it impossible to sleep. It made it impossible to just all I could do was sit in this room and wrap blankets around me and try and keep warm with multiple layers of clothes. And anyway, I mean, it was down in the teens and lower at night, and I was just basically bundling up trying to keep from freezing like a popsicle. By the time morning came, I was ragged, and I'm still pretty bedraggled. Now, who all is in here? I got one person watching. Yay! I really hope that one person isn't me. If whoever you are, could you please type your name out? Type your name out so I can see who you are. Come on, show me some love. But, not really got much done. You could see here is Fluttermoth is a minor commission. Dr. Wolf is looking to do a reading of my story, Yes, It Matters. And so he needs some sketches of himself, a couple of Twilight, a couple of Fluttershy, and at least one of Fluttermoth here. is 2:40. It's been 3 hours. It's been 3 hours. Just a little bit under, about 2 3/4. I'm going to go ahead and call it a show. This is really anticlimactic. It's really not much of a show at all. Really got to get some more material, more things interesting and worth talking about, worth seeing, worth watching, worth listening to for these broadcasts. These is just embarrassing. Got people out there that like make videos of themselves lighting their own farts who are getting thousands of hits, and here I am, I can't even be that entertaining. So, but anyway, we're gonna call it a night, call it a day rather, something like that. See you again tomorrow. I'm not sure what time, but we'll do this thing. Try and get a little bit more work done on the strips and on everything that is stacking up on us. Y'all have yourselves a good day and take care of yourselves. It's rough out there. See you again tomorrow. Say a prayer for me if you get a chance, because God knows I need 'em. Good night.